that said, I would like to officially open the June 28, 2016 meeting of the Bolton Conservation Commission. And as always, we will start with the roll call. I am Brian Barabee.
Jeff Lawrence.
Liz LaCruz.
Karen Abigail.
Lori Stevenson.
And Kathy Sparrow, Interim Conservation Administrator.
And first up tonight, we have Linda Day.
Or Jen.
Or
Jen Markey.
We have Jen Markey. To discuss, to execute a conservation restriction for 252 West Berlin Road.
So at the last meeting, you all voted to sign it, and in fact, you did sign it, but it has to be notarized. So we're gonna do it all over again. I don't think you need to re-vote it. I just think you need to sign it in Jen's presence,
Perfect.
and then she will notarize it.
And then there's some of you that I don't know, that I've looked at your ID, so if we haven't met formally, if you wouldn't mind having your ID, that would be great, and I really appreciate that. And then we'll go ahead and sign, and I'll notarize.
Yep.
So I'm ready when you are.
And I probably won't sign because I didn't sign last time.
It's up to you.
I was the same. I'm probably happy to sign. I fully agree with everyone's
You can do
decision.
it with four, so.
Yeah, it's just like,
So there's 2 copies, and you should sign both.
these copies right here, right?
Yeah.
Here you go. Oh,
I mean, I don't mind signing. I'm fully happy.
I think the commission will.
Yep.
So, okay.
Give me that 5 lines. And I did bring my photo ID.
thank you, I've
Sign
already got
cover.
this, and I have looked, thank you. And I know so many people's faces, but not everyone's face.
Yeah, 2 pages each on this one. I know we signed.
Oh, was it?
Oh, okay, I got you, yeah.
Don't sign
Yeah.
the second one.
Just sign the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this one I'm good on. I think what reminded this.
Can I ask a favor?
Sure.
Would you mind printing the names in this spot? Just because I don't know all the spellings.
This Kathy does.
Oh, they're right there, I'm so sorry.
That's perfectly fine.
Thank you. Can I take a loan on your pen?
Go for it.
Thank you.
Liz, what's your last name? Nora, you're a PH?
Yep.
I'll get a copy of that one.
Thank you, Jen.
Sure.
2022.
I know, isn't that great? It's
long,
Not so long. Remember, 2000 seems so far away.
When I was a kid, I had one of those little date stamps that you could change.
Oh, yeah.
I think it went until like, 1981.
That's a good year.
Alright, that goes back to you. I just just want to make sure you're good with both of those, and that's what you need.
Yep, I can just add conservation commission in there.
Okay, perfect.
That's good.
Excellent. You can steal that pen there from me. Thank you. No, I passed it down. that's
No.
all. Do you need one?
I got
Okay.
one.
Perfect, thanks everyone, nice to meet you guys.
No, thank you.
Thank you. So that will go on to the selectmen next.
We're free at 7:15. Anything administrative business we could check off?
Yep. I think maybe the request for wetland crossing, we can do while Brendan's here. in case
Yes,
there's any
that makes
questions
sense.
about that.
Yep.
Certificate of compliance for 21 North Road. So Jackie did a site inspection yesterday. This is an order that was issued about 11 years ago for a septic replacement, and I guess they never got a sign off on it. Now they're getting ready to refinance, and suddenly panic. So she went out with the order. She took a couple pictures of the site and passed down, and she said that she felt like everything was done in compliance with the conditions and the plan. We also have a letter from Ducharme and Dillis saying that the work was completed in June of 2005, that they prepared an as-built plan, and that all work was completed in accordance with the plan. So our full recommendation would be that you approve the CIP.
Great. We're going to get through the pictures and then we'll see if we have any motions. Want to make a motion?
Motion to replace the certificate of compliance for 21 North Road. Second?
All those in favor? Aye.
Send that down for signature. It's just the second page.
Yeah, that's a sell. Oh, what? Whoa. We have time. Brandon's not here.
Yeah. So Taylor Road, in your packet is a letter from Northeastern Consulting Forestry Services, which is Leo Garneau, representing the applicant. At our last meeting, he promised to provide an update for tonight, and we had asked him to install the erosion controls. So in the letter, he says that they've been working on it and that they have been installed. They've been placed and will be staked, and he believes that they are properly located. What concerned me a little bit in this letter was that he said the piles of slash and stumps are to be removed, date not set, by the firm that was responsible for the clearing. And when we met with them, I think 2 meetings ago, we were in this room, we said, we don't want you to remove the slash and
Right,
stumps. So I shot him back a quick email that said, don't do that. You know, that we would talk about it tonight, but that I didn't think that the commission wanted that done. So he promised that he would send another update on July 8th.
Okay.
If we wanted to, we could try to find a time between now and the next meeting to go out.
To go out and get one.
And
Fine with that, and we can try to set a date time now.
Yeah, I bet.
Come up with some date times that might work.
You go on, stuff.
Does it have to be when he's up, or just?
I don't think it has to be. I think you could just go when you want to, or say, you know, this is when we're going to go, and if you're available, we'd love to have you join us. But if not, we're good.
And it could be with Leo instead of the landowner.
Yeah,
Seems like
that would be nice.
he's the on-site person at this point, yeah. which would make more sense anyways, because you probably have the answers. So July 8th.
Well, he's gonna give us another update.
Well, on July 8th, yeah, I was gonna say
One of
that.
the things we're going to do tonight is set our.
Next dates. Next week is not, I'm here some days next week, and away some days next week. Tuesday night next week I'm here, if that works for people.
Sunday's the third,
Fourth.
Monday's the fourth.
4th, so it's the 5th.
Tuesday's the fifth, yeah.
We'll tentatively try for Tuesday night, would that work? 5:30, 5, 6, what works best?
You can actually run the site, right? Yeah. 11 time checks. There you go.
Honestly, would you be around at all, Kathy, next week?
Well, our commission usually meets the other Tuesdays, but we're actually not meeting
one.
that night, so I might be able to.
I'll take you out.
I haven't been up there, so.
What's that?
In which case, what time would work best for you?
Back to
Just check and make sure I'm not
Yeah,
responsible. So I could pretty much do any time 5:30 or later.
Want to shoot for 5:30?
5:30?
Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I talked to Billy yesterday.
So, yeah, if you can throw an email, see if that's okay.
He's gonna try to, he's gonna try to get off.
Where do you park? I know you get to the top of the hill and take the lap boat.
It's the bathhouse is where we went. So we just kind of parked along the road right before you get to the driveway and just walked down the driveway.
Along West Berlin.
Yeah, it's along West Berlin, but then it forks off a little bit to right in front of the Taylor. Well, the barn, and the house in the back.
That's the next meeting.
We'll probably get to the top of the hill there. And it's that one property. I think if you went down the driveway, you'd see where they were standing waiting.
What's the exact address? Yes, address.
Good question. I don't know.
Ask that one.
So was it there
I
last
might
time?
probably be able to get it off the
Yeah.
website.
I told her to go down and try to.
Intersection of
West Berlin and Wanacquatic. It's
We'll,
right after you pass Old Bay. It's kind of
Okay.
it's right after Nancy Casey's farm.
very top of the hill before it starts going down the other side.
We'll try to send you a reminder and we'll just have like a nearby address so that you can get close.
Yeah, you probably see our cars too.
Hold the 17, you think 14, hold the 17. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do I have a special thing for you?
Yeah.
You're awesome.
You know what I mean?
It's just the- Thank you. Close enough. Everybody wants to discuss, we'll be here in time. Okay. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public meeting under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233, to consider a request for determination of flexibility filed by Old Stone Estates LLC for a shared single-family driveway at lots 25B and 26B, Old Stone Circle. This evening, June 28th, here in Town Hall at 7:15, and we have Brandon Ducharme and Dillis. How are you? Good, how are you? Hi.
So we filed an RDA for a driveway, just to kind of give you a quick overview of where we are on the site. As you come in from South Bolton Road, this is the first right, which is the cul-de-sac that
Yes.
we're working on now, the longer cul-de-sac. And as you come all the way down, obviously, the wetland crossing is right here, which, have the culvert box cover. Yeah. So there's 3 proposed building lots here. They just finished constructing the septic system. Much of this has kind of been cleared and prepared. The original driveway is coming in off of Old Stone here, that was kind of coming up and serving all 3 of these houses. And essentially what we're trying to do now is obviously get this its own driveway and then bring in a shared driveway here to avoid a common driveway, and also just having a major road kind of between the houses and the other road. This is the buffer zone here. The wetland is across the street. It's kind of down in this low area here. And as you can tell, there's an existing order of conditions for the road. So this is kind of already within the limit of work for the road. It's, I believe, all kind of disturbed now.
Yeah, it's all been seeded and, but you were up there, you saw it.
Yes. So it really was kind of just driving it. We're going about 10 feet into the buffer zone here, and that's basically to get the offset for the reserve leaching area, essentially, kind of a retaining wall if they ever built that. So it's about 800 square feet of alteration there.
Of the buffer.
In the buffer, yeah.
And was it to end up just being grassed and terraced down, or?
Well, in order to kind of keep it just to the outer,
Yeah.
is basically like a kind of boulder wall right there. So the driveway is going to kind of come up, and then instead of grading it all the way out,
Yeah.
grassing, we're going to build a boulder wall, tighten it up as much as we can. We're proposing erosion control along the edge there.
This is the septic system.
This is, yeah. So primary system, and then this is the reserve area, nature area.
Far enough away. Outside of the buffer.
Yeah. So given the fact that, much of this is within the shoulder of the street, the wetlands on the other side, we filed the RDA saying there's no real net negative impact to the buffer zone.
Did you say you had gone out?
We did. Jack and I went out on Thursday, met with Fred, and he gave us the overview. I think it's pretty straightforward. We had a couple of questions around maybe stormwater coming down this driveway and how it might be collected here, but there is a good sized berm. And then there's drainage in the street just downgrade to there. So that didn't seem to be a problem. And Fred, I think we had talked about just making sure that, there was a slope, right, to sort of shed the water back towards this
You
direction.
can either shed it back to
If at
this
all possible.
or pipe it to a catch basin or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, the way that planning board's looking at this is even though this subdivision was laid out to basically the drainage in this road was designed to pick up all the site drainage, there's a bylaw in town that basically says that no water or filth can come off of a driveway onto the road. We've been around and around until they change it. We're holding to that. So basically, all of these driveways that are upgrading and sloping down, we're adding some sort of a trench drain or a low area where we can. And so kind of the same thing here, there's going to be a trench drain right along the driveway there. And the way we're showing it now is basically just to run it down, have some rip wrap, kind of down, similar to this one here, and just put out a wetland.
Excellent.
So,
Is overall a net loss of driveway area?
Yes.
With the split in two instead of the 1 mega?
yeah.
Yeah, great question. I think this is a much better plan than the original.
I'm not,
I don't remember.
kind of snaked in on the turn through. I wasn't out there, I don't have too many questions. It almost seems like a simpler, easy way to go, which is less invasive to a certain extent.
Not that it really matters to you guys, but it'll make our homeowner a lot happier.
Oh, I'm sure, that I don't doubt, yeah. Any major concerns? Does anyone want to make a motion?
Any kind of conditioning other than what's already been?
Proposed?
Not seeing on the side eye. Do you see anything that needs to be done or?
No, and I'd be happy to make right as designed in the plan. So I would make a motion to approve the driveway relocation and design based on current plans and specs for lots 25B and 26B Old Stone Circle.
Here a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
So approved.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
You just did that.
You did it? Oh,
Yeah.
good. So,
Yeah. He denied it. No,
Okay.
no, they're all set.
So I have the determination of facility for this one to
Okay.
be signed. Are there any conditions that you want to put on it, or you just did it as shown on the plan? Okay.
As designed.
Some negative determinations.
Yeah, we can remember that with motions.
Hmm?
To remember that with motions, so we have a negative. what's that negative?
Negative three.
Three.
I heard you say that.
Yeah, yeah. He was clear on that. We were clear on his intent.
Need this one back?
Is that the same as what we heard?
We have 10 minutes before Goddard. Is there any place you want to jump to?
We can
Makes
do the
sense.
Century Mill level crossing.
Yeah, that would make sense. All right, can I talk about the crossing?
Sure.
And I have some pictures that Jackie,
So,
I think these are this site, but I haven't been there, so you tell me. They were in the file with
Yeah,
this.
that's it.
Looks like it, yeah, wow.
This area we reconstructed.
oh, we buttoned it up that year before the winter, yeah. And that's the area we want to recross.
We essentially want to do the same thing we did previously and
Recross,
strip it back,
reconstruct.
rip it down, strip it back and reconstruct it.
And the primary reason is to avoid having to go the out around route.
Yeah, there's some other concerns on that route. Some of the power lines are really low and some of our equipment is tall.
Will this be the last time, or do you foresee having to do it again?
I guess it depends on how fast the blasting goes that we have to do on the other side.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of it. We could have to reconstruct it this fall. Most likely we'll have to reconstruct this fall and finish the work. next
So you'll
summer.
be back again next year for the same scenario?
Yeah, but at that time we should be able to put the complete culvert crossing and everything in after we processed all the material on the other end. So realistically, it'll end up being back next year.
Back next year, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure last time I was here, but we had a lot of meetings about it, so I'm pretty sure that's where we sit right now. It's kind of late in the season.
In the
so
season to get everything completed in one shot.
I'm not sure it all could be done in one season, even if it was the beginning of the season.
So when do you close it up again? October?
November. I think we did it in November last time.
Now, does it pay off to not close it off? And just so you, and just, I don't know, stabilize the
Yeah.
whole site and leave it open for the winter? Not being, I just don't know.
I mean, I'd be happy to address it either way, and probably defer to Brandon on what he thought was the best way to handle stabilizing the area.
I think,
Because there
I
were
think
some
if we put
safety
riprap there.
concerns, weren't there? The ice collecting and sort of what I remember.
I mean, the first time you closed it up, did you know you were gonna go back over there again? Or was-
We did, they actually closed us off when I first started, like a month after I started here. So I don't know if they've done it previous to that or not. But I do believe they knew they were gonna have to cross again.
But did we know? You might have known, but did we know?
I don't know.
No, we knew.
We knew on that one,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause I think we actually made them close it up.
We closed it
Yeah, we
up.
went around the rocks at the time.
Mhm.
We talked about several options. There was a drainage swell went through there. We talked about kind of putting steel plating over it. There was a couple of plans actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
we did this.
And we we talked about just doing riprap. You know, that way, when it started to flow, we just kind of go through the riprap and carry on.
Yeah.
And at the time, I believe mostly Carol kind of wanted to see everything buttoned up and redone, and deal with it the next time.
Essentially, as long as the water's not impeded from up above to down below, that's the important thing, right?
Right, right. I mean, one of the big concerns, it's hard to tell this picture, but the uphill side, it was kind of steep where it kind of came down to where the driveway was. So if we could leave that natural, and that's, we proposed the netting and everything on that.
We did the netting on the whole thing.
Okay.
We covered it from top to bottom with it, but we're only
I would leave it all there,
We're
just
trucks
basically.
for, you know, for single lane passage. We don't want to open it all the way from top to bottom and just enough to pass the equipment.
That's right. That's what we had talked about on site. Something around the 12 to 15 foot wide path,
Yeah.
right?
And one about the size of our widest piece of equipment, with a foot on either side.
Mhm.
About 15 feet would be the most.
And Fred, it's my understanding that there's ledge,
Yes, there's ledge right below all this.
14
water.
inches down,
Something
something like
like that.
that.
Yeah, so this was all restored. If you were to look at this before, I've actually got some pictures I can show you, I can email to you guys, but there was essentially a hammered trench that went all through there.
Yeah, I remember
It
those.
was
I'm
pretty
surprised
pretty
it's
deep,
not it, yeah.
actually, because that's where the footing was gonna go for the structure. And that was all filled in, which will need to be dug back up.
Right, that was filled in with crushed stone, I believe.
So Brandon, you said last time that it's basically a vernal pool up above that
Yep.
overflows and comes through this area. You know, as the spring flow comes through, are there riparian values here that should be maintained that might not be if, say, it was riprap or what, you know, I don't know it, so I'm just curious. about
That's
that.
kind of where it came last time, because also to get more information is the salamanders, and at the time, Natural Heritage was involved and kind of incorporated into the loop. And that was, I think, now that you said it, that was the concern with the riprap, was even whether or not the salamanders could get through. So ultimately, we decided to restore it.
So I'd be, you know, and again, it's just my thing, I'd be tempted to say if you did it, we'd probably ask for it to be buttoned up again, because that was a lot of Carol's reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we keep it to like a 15 or 18 foot, like you said, your wide vehicle, you know, a couple feet on either side.
Yeah.
So hopefully it won't be so bad to try to recreate and bring back, you know.
Well, the big concern too was if we restored it, but it wasn't gonna hold up.
Should take, yeah.
And that's what, I mean, I guess it's good to see it not only held up, but
It's getting there, yeah.
because ultimately it's all going to be disturbed when the actual club is built.
Yeah. I have to say, I appreciate your honesty in saying, no, it won't all be done this year.
Yeah, no.
I was like, yeah, no, it'll be done, no problem, it'll be done this year. So I was like, oh, no, this is refreshing.
I just had to talk to other people to make
Understand.
sure.
But I guess that's why I would lean is to say, because I can see, you know, it is difficult to get the trucks out and around. I'm not so much worried about the difficulty, but it is, you know, bringing them out into traffic. Those roads are all crumbling to begin with. You know, the wires are the wires. Let's go to the trees. It just might be safer, easier, and in the long run, not as damaging going through here. And allowing it again, knowing full well that we're gonna ask to button up again, just try to get some sort of growth in there at the end of the season, so we can hopefully complete next year. But I'd be willing to accommodate that. I guess that's kind of the way I'd lean, but I'd be happy to hear what other people have to think.
Did you see it with the wetland mix or just let it go and whatever?
They just let it go. They didn't
And the
see it
soils
with
had
anything.
started, yeah.
Because everything was mixed together in a stockpile on the side. We didn't see it. All we did was put the jute net down in the straw, and then I think we used a rye that
I was gonna say,
was that
Yeah,
year.
It was
Yeah, just
several times, it was
something
like
that
the
died
oak or the quick rye.
Yeah.
Basically,
Just
just
to-
to get quick cover.
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Seems to work the first time.
And it's just short term, right? Long term is a good solution that's already in plan.
Yeah.
for years and years to come, right?
And that, that one I'll be more concerned about at the end, signing off on the finals when everything has been recreated and the houses are in, seeing that it's taking there and that's when it's, been done properly and everything's in rather than this for a season. So, I guess it's not really something we need to vote on, right? Or,
Well, I would recommend that you vote on it and
Yeah.
that we just write up a letter
Yeah.
to the applicant, sort of summarizing what we've read up, so that we have some paper in the file. This is what you've approved, this is what's going to be done.
okay.
And we can, if you want to vote tonight, we can bring the letter back at the next meeting or work with the chair, whatever makes sense to get it done.
There'd be one similar to the last time that could be recreated, no?
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
not sure.
Like
Have to
Carol,
look in the file.
See if there, and there might not have been one too, because that might have been off the order of conditions. It's just enforcing the order or asking to go off the order.
If there is, we can just.
I think last time we had, just something in place to kind of monitor the flow. And you can tell with that vernal pool, just to kind of, you never know what kind of year you're gonna have in the fall. It's, as hurricanes come through, but, starting in October, if we can keep an eye on it, and then have something in place that, if you guys say, hey, it's gonna
Yeah,
flow.
it's really coming,
There's a
yeah.
time frame there, just so, saying, oh, we said stop working, and it's gonna take too long to button it up, probably you can have that, I don't know how long it took last time, but.
I think it took a week, less than a week, couple days.
When did you do it?
It was-
Early, late October?
I think it was mid-November.
Mid-November?
It was pretty dry last year, but that's what I'm saying, you just never know.
You never know what you're
Yeah.
gonna get.
Yeah, it was
And
mid-November.
obviously, early enough where we can get that growth,
Yeah.
vegetation.
Trying to think, could I make a motion that we draft a letter as Kathy had proposed about a minute and a half ago?
Approving.
With it, approving a crossing, approving a temporary wetland crossing on Century Mill Estates. Does that make sense as a motion? In which case, do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Right.
When do you want to start doing work?
As soon as possible. Yeah, I mean, if we can get started stockpiling the material and setting it up to be set aside, then we can start trucking some equipment over and get some stuff done. We want to try and clear a couple house lots. We have a staging area you approved, but we want to set up some house lots in case we have overflow material or, there were houses are going to go anyways.
So if we draft a letter and run it by, you've been up there,
Yeah.
one of you, just to have a check.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be kind of somewhat around next week, but if I'm around,
Okay.
but yeah, it has the ability to look to depending.
Okay.
All right.
it'd be good to have a site visit at some point. So we have Jim, so he's a regular
Yeah.
person, and maybe like once a year, the commission just comes and visits and, you point to the
Yeah.
places that we're talking about beyond just the pictures, because I remember being on site, it was so helpful to
Yeah.
understand. it.
Whatever you want, I'm there
Okay.
5 days a week.
So one of these visits, we can maybe tack on a short, just a
Sure.
little
Have you
site
guys
Yeah,
visit.
maybe I haven't been out there in a long time.
Yeah, right.
Just let me know. Take you around wherever you want to go.
We can start going back and forth, see if we can figure out a date. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you both.
Have a good evening.
Yes, take care.
I don't know, when we have a site visit, we've got one.
You to whatever those dates are.
Visit.
That makes good
When it
sense.
comes
I'm just
to-
thinking about like when it's, like the most critical events, you know?
Right,
Right now, everything's dusty.
yeah, it's true.
It's
I was trying to think that when we were saying that, I was like, oh, maybe we should try to send it for tonight. And I was like, wow. Yeah, I know we have things upcoming that I kind of rather get out close to.
That's what Karen was saying, is if there's an event, you know, that's happening
Next time.
right now, maybe a little dusty. On the other hand, just having a visual sometimes helps every time they come, and you see the map and you have an overview.
Yeah, you can remember, oh, that's right, that's where it turns. Because
Yeah.
I had it orientated first, because I remember the box cover, we talked so much.
Right,
Oh, it's
right,
down.
right.
Oh, it's down from the box cover, I
Right,
see what
right.
that is, yeah.
So,
Kathy just brought up the point, we do have on the list tonight to figure out meeting times. And it might be good if we could try to set some July and August dates first before we keep going down the menu in case we have to move things to a future date. Does that make sense? So everybody grab those calendars.
So right now, we have no new filings, and so nothing that has to be opened or heard within 21 days. Doesn't mean that there won't be
Right.
certificates of compliance or, you know, minor things, but.
Your July meeting schedule in Stowe, are you 5th and 19th, or are you?
We are 5th and 19th, and both Jackie and I are going to be out of town on the 26th.
Okay.
So that complicates things a little bit.
Well, and we've done summer, no, we've done winter hours. Have we done summer hours before, or were we just doing one in summer? No, it was more in the winter. We would do it, because it would usually slow down more in the winter.
I mean, you could schedule for the 12th.
That was, the 12th is open on my schedule if other people have July 12th.
I think I'm out of town. But that's still enough for us.
I'm on town that week.
Okay.
You're out of town?
Yeah.
So we meet us in 2.
That would not work.
Not so good.
I'm in Northern Lumber.
Yeah.
Is it possible to meet any other day?
That's what, would Thursday nights work? You know, would Thursday night work?
Are you out of town the whole week, both of you guys? So I leave town on the 20th, but Jackie could potentially be here on the 21st.
Maybe not when we discuss what may be gone.
Yeah, we won't
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Should we do this after? No.
Well, we
We
might
need
need
to
to set it, yeah, there's
Right,
things
right,
that
right,
continue
right.
down.
Yeah.
Just say if you're here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're not available, I'll just say you're not available that night.
Yeah.
Would the 21st work? Thursday night, the 21st?
I presumably for Jackie, yeah.
No, that's right, you leave the 20th, right.
Yes.
All right, so
Yes.
could we do Thursday the 21st, and then,
And then maybe pick an August.
well, yeah, I was gonna say, let's do the first week in August if people can.
So on the 9th or the 2nd? The 9th
I-
would be the regular night.
Can you do the 2nd?
Yes.
I'd almost be tempted to say the 2nd, just because we only have one meeting in July.
Mhm.
We'll take a second.
It's less than 2 weeks.
I cannot do the 9th.
Oh, that's right, it is.
You cannot do the 9th,
Mhm.
so maybe we need to do.
I can do the night, August 9th.
Can you do August 2nd?
No.
Thank you.
And there's also the 23rd.
I can't do it. I don't guarantee anything.
Yeah, no, I know.
If I can, I can. If I can't, I just don't guarantee it.
Do we want to do the 9th?
Are we just missing one for the 9th? Yeah, why don't we try for that, because that'll be his close weekend, so maybe August 9th?
And maybe we can do it that, unless, I mean, if we start to get a lot of applications, we'll have to
We'll have to, yeah.
do that. But right
At
now, the
least we
only
have
thing
the
that's
next two.
pending is this lot 1, and
Okay,
I'm not confident that I'll do weeks either.
okay. You know, and that'll give us some time too. If we have something pressing, we might be able to make it quicker on a Thursday, depending.
Yep.
So as long as we have 2 going out right now. All right. July 21st, August 9th.
So 21 and 9.
I will assume 7 o'clock, and
Yeah.
I don't mind meeting here if we can get here.
Get those
Find me the
posted on
place,
the
but-
board.
The one thing I like about meeting here is everything's upstairs.
Mm.
It's easy to run up, it's so much easier.
Okay, so then we have the 7:30 public hearing for lot 1 Century Mill.
Okay. Do you have the official thing for me to read?
I don't think you need to, I think you can just open the continuing public hearing.
That's right. Okay, so now I would like to officially open the public hearing for Scott Goddard, Lot 1, Century Mill Road, discussion for notice of intent. Mr. Goddard has contacted Kathy and asked for continuance. So I'd like to make a motion that we continue this hearing until our next meeting, July 21st, 2016, at a time to be determined. Do I hear a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So continued.
Alright. So order of conditions, 15 Wilder Road. You have a draft in your packet. One small wrinkle is that David Russell walked away from the last hearing with the only copy of the plan.
Oh, no.
So we don't have the plan. And I emailed him and Greg and asked them to bring it. I think that's okay, but, we need to have it for the files. And I think Jeff and I picked up all of the special conditions that got talked about.
That's gonna be a fun game to play. What did she say? You may have comments. Everybody had a chance to read through it, and anybody have any comments or anything I think we missed as far as the special conditions go?
I had two comments, only because of the proximity to Wilder Pond Conservation Area and the fact that there is a public access way easement very close to, the area proposed, that we include language around no easement obstructions.
Restricting of access to the easement.
And my second, I guess, comment or suggestion would be there were a fair number of trees proposed. I think it says something around the order of 17, that all the cut wood needs to be removed from the site,
Okay.
which is something that we had talked to David,
Gotcha.
right? So that there are not piles of wood
He's not just
in
stacking.
in and around Wilder Pond,
Okay.
which would be highly visible given, you know, his proximity to the pond.
And those would both be conditions.
Thank you.
Is there any kind of notification or sign that mentions the pond, or, can we talk about that? Having something that just delineates it's a conservation area?
Around the pond, there's not, I know his property sort of
And it's,
goes right to the water's edge. There's,
Yeah.
unless we were willing to stake signs, there's not sort of trees to put signs against. Does that make sense?
yeah. It's,
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I swear remember there was something about putting the small signs
Yeah, it's let people know.
to let them know.
Because it's not, I mean, it is a conservation area, but it's an easement, right? Because it's all, like, he owns property all the way to the pond. And I think the town holds an easement as part of the whole hiking system, trail system. I don't know if we can condition easements. I just don't know.
That's fine.
Anything else? So have a motion to approve the order with those 2 amendments.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the order of conditions for 115 Wilder Road, with the inclusion of the additional 2 conditions mentioned during this discussion.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Yeah, those ones in, right? This is my second. Where would you like to go next, Meadow Lane?
Yeah, so the, Greg Roy emailed today and said that he's not gonna be ready to go ahead tonight, as he does not have the plans ready yet. So
Okay.
he said, no need to postpone to a date certain, I'll be in touch when I'm
Okay.
ready. So that's no action tonight.
Thank you.
And you should all have copies of a plan that Michael Hayden brought in for the Craftsman Estates culvert work. I thought he was coming in tonight, but I don't see him, so I can do it without him. Liz, Jeff, and I looked at this out in the field with them last Monday, I think it was. Time is flying. And basically, as I understand it, the culvert is already under the road.
Yes.
And all they want to do is tie in the basin to it and create the outfall on the other side. I did take a couple of pictures, but they're on my phone. And it was our sense, my sense, and my suggestion that they not actually make the connection until the basin and the site is more stabilized, because right now, pretty much the whole site is open, the basin is not yet vegetated. You know, if there were to be a heavy, heavy rainfall event and there were to be an overflow from the basin, it could potentially be
It's just tearing it down.
yeah, so, but I think otherwise the plan makes sense as proposed.
And we did get an answer for why the water was backed up on 495.
Yeah.
So that was actually something that was happening, and they said he thought maybe the DPW or maybe the state had taken care of it,
Okay,
but it wasn't caused by their site.
okay.
It was
Because it was,
really-
Yeah,
flooded
that's
a
right.
little bit, yeah.
And my recollection is, I have it right here, that the order for Craftsman Village actually requires you to approve this plan. So it says, after the contractor locates the buried culvert pipe, the applicant contractor shall submit for the commission's review and approval any improvements that are needed to utilize the culvert. So,
Do we want to do that now or until it's ready actually to be used? So if we don't do it now, they can't use it. Tie it in.
you could approve it now, but they can't actually make the connection.
Okay.
And you could specify that.
And that would seem to make sense that
Yeah.
we approve the plans contingent upon the outflow area, trying to think how to phrase that properly, is properly stabilized before final connection's made.
Mhm.
Should that include an inspection?
Yeah, you could do that. I'll say until the site and the basin are stabilized. And the commission approves inspection. And we'll put that in a letter to them.
Okay.
So that they have it.
Perfect.
Do you want to make a motion? Any motion guy tonight?
I know, I never know how to. I want to make a motion that we approve the plans for the revised culvert design for Craftsman Village on Sugar Road, with the additional conditions that we discussed here this evening. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
And you have minutes from the last meeting.
Do we do? Since I wasn't here, I don't know, would somebody else make the motion to approve those?
Did you distribute minutes? They were, I think Jackie sent them.
Yeah, they were-
She did, they were one of the three. but-
You have a stapled packet that's like page 3.
Yeah, but down
Yeah.
here, but they were also in the very first.
It's been, yeah, they're pretty much back.
Do you need them, Joe?
I'm not sure if I was received.
I think they were an attachment in the email.
What? Oh, yeah. Back. This one.
No, just-
What else I did? I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the Bolton Conservation Commission of June 14th, 2006. Team.
We're not that far behind.
The team is coming. So, second? Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We had a invoice from MACC for the dues for the commission, and I gave you all a copy of this list, so we just need help correcting it. Because I think there might be some people on here that aren't on the commission anymore.
Yeah.
And then if anybody else should be added, or if any of like the phone numbers or emails were incorrect.
I think my phone number is incorrect.
Have a-
Max, does he come on? I didn't know if you had associate members. or-
We do, and I think he's technically still an associate member.
So I can change him to an A.
Yeah.
Is that what they want?
And maybe I might take this copy, I might just need to email him and say, you know, are you still able to come, do you still want to come?
Yeah.
Hines, you can take off.
Okay. And I took off Jim's time
Yes.
from your numbers.
Just the last one.
I think so. You said,
That's 3-2.
Correct.
And then for staff, we'll just put vacant for now. But more to come on that. And I don't know whether, do you all usually actually vote to approve the payment of the dues, or does staff just handle that? out of the budget?
I think we just signed, we've always just signed, right? We never voted
no, we
to,
never voted.
we just signed,
Okay.
yeah, for initial.
I don't know what you signed. I have the invoice.
I think we can initial this, right? Actually, you know what, I think I can just initial this, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll get it submitted for payment.
Yeah, and if they have any questions, or they say, oh, no, I'll let you submit this, then
Okay.
we can do that, but we should probably pay MACC.
Yep. Alright. Follow up on the site visit to Craftsman Estates. I'm not sure there's any more that we need to say, but we met, what was his name, Xavier?
Oh.
Who's kind of the site manager. And walked around on the site with that. I think the erosion controls were fine. A lot of the site is exposed. I was actually surprised by that, but.
I think we all were a little bit, yeah.
But it doesn't seem, I mean, there's probably some dust erosion going on because it's been so dry, but it's pretty sandy, so no obvious erosion.
Fill back in.
So I thought it looked pretty good.
Right. Well, we had also talked about, as the development pushes back into the lot, to have the erosion control sort of freshened up a little bit. Back
Yep.
there, right?
Yep. Yeah, there's definitely a few places where the silt fence is starting to sag or whatever. So by the time they're working in the front, but by the time they're getting back to the site, probably should keep an eye on it, you know, revisit again in the fall.
And there's a report that you're supposed to get regularly?
We're supposed to get the SWIP reports. In my experience, they're almost never submitted, but they're kept in the site trailer so that we can go look at them if we want. I have a very hard time getting SWIP reports on contractors, even when we say we're supposed to get them. They do them. I mean, and if they're sort of audited, if EPA shows up, they actually get fined if they don't have them done. So they're pretty diligent about doing them. I did ask Sue Carter for a copy of the final construction drawings because the order requires us to have them, and the plans that we have are stamped not for construction. So she said she would get those to us. Just I followed up at the last meeting. We talked a little bit about mowing at our springs and Butternut. Been to either of those two places, but So I followed up with Carol to ask her kind of what she would recommend. And she wrote back and said that a guy named Jim Henderson from Lincoln has mowed in the past. And she said he's good but expensive, but there should be money to mow. She can't remember if she had him mow in 2014 or not. She thinks she did. So if it makes sense to you guys, we hadn't had a chance to get to it yet, but we were going to propose to follow up with him, get an estimate from him, and hopefully get this on his radar screen. There is money in the budget for mowing, so it'd be nice to arrange to have it done kind of late summer and early fall.
Agreed. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
So that's the plan.
That's a good
We'll
plan.
post it. If he says no, we have to go to Plan C.
Do you guys have somebody you like in Stowe? I'd like to give him the opportunity
We
first. but I
talked
don't know if
about
there's
it.
people you like or-
So we actually have somebody from the highway department who does it kind of as a subcontractor, he has his own
Nice.
equipment.
Yep.
And he mows for us. He's just incredibly busy, and I'm not sure, I
Yeah.
mean, he literally drives the tractor from his house over to the conservation land, so
Yeah.
I don't think he would want to go this
Keep
far.
coming down 117, yeah.
But if this doesn't work out, you know, we can ask him and see if he's interested or if he
Yeah, or
knows
if
of
he knows
somebody
somebody,
else.
yeah, yeah.
I have saying in the last meeting that I have a meadow that I have mowed, and before I had somebody, I actually just looked on Craigslist and found someone from like Barry or something that came and mowed it one year. It was fun.
Yeah.
So he brought his equipment, and it was a little more expensive, I think, because of the travel.
Right, but
So.
people are out there.
So that could be a Plan D
There
if
you go.
A, B, and C don't work out.
The only person I could think of is our fields that we have actually hayed and baled, Dave Coolidge in Bolton. I don't know if he
If
does
he's interested.
that type of work or not. You know, he usually just, you know, he does the haying and baling, but I don't know if they just mow.
Okay.
Planning.
And Jeff, if we get this guy,
He's on Berlin Road, just so you know.
okay. If we get the person that Carol recommended on the phone, would you be willing to meet up with him and kind of show him the scope of the work?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, at any point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Request for enforcement action, we had a complaint from Ellen DePietro's neighbor on Teal Road that he had been out, this is post-variance, cutting with a chainsaw adjacent to her property, in or adjacent to wetlands. So I went out and took a look and so it's, I'll just send you this down. This is taken from Teal Road. Maria, what's her name's driveway is over here, sort of the first house in Bolton. And there is an old cart road that it looks like he's kind of reopened and is reestablishing from Teal Road. And it's hard to see without enlarging the photo, but there are wetland flags that are like right in here and right in here. So, if you look at the delineation plans, it looks like there might be a little tiny dry strip through there, but the wetland comes kind of right up to both sides of the road. So I drafted a letter for you guys to look at. Carol had sent him a letter back in October of 2014 requesting that he contact her upon receipt of the letter to talk about compliance. So I referred to that.
Yep.
And I thought, you know, we're sort of on the fence about whether it's enforcement order or letter, but I thought maybe start with letter.
It never hurts to start with letter yet.
Yeah. If you guys are inclined to sign.
You said we did get a complaint from a resident.
Yeah.
You know, if we got a complaint from a resident and there is something that is, you know, it would seem like, I mean, I'd be willing to send a letter. I would seem like letter would be the smart way to go. You is not in compliance with the laws they have on the book, and there's a neighbor calling that factor out, I would think we would have to at least, very least, start with the letter to contact and say, whoa, stop,
Yep.
and come inside, which I think was Carol's initial letter too, was, you know, if anything's within, 100 feet of the wetlands, just come and talk to us and tell us what you're doing before you start. So, I mean, as drafted, I'd be happy to sign this letter. I don't know if people have other thoughts on any change, anything else you'd like to see in there. When was our next meeting? It's July 21st, so July 15th.
So you would know
Yeah.
at your next meeting whether you had heard from him or not.
It's nice to have a paper trail.
Yeah, and it gives over 2 weeks. So, if it goes certified mail by the end of this week, that would give them at least 2 weeks to respond.
Yeah, and we do sort of provide for the opportunity for an extension if,
Yeah, just
you know,
call
like
and
if I got
ask
this
and say
letter, I'd
there's
be
a
like,
reason,
"Oh, I
yeah.
can't do it by then."
Oh, what's going, yeah, which I think is fine, as long as we start at least having the conversation with them and moving it along.
Yeah.
I don't know, we don't really need to vote on the letter, or do we need to vote on the letter?
I never think it's a bad idea to have a vote.
Sure. I would like to make a motion that we send a letter as drafted to DPH of Teal Road in Bolton, informing him of asking him to submit to the Conservation Commission if he is doing any work within the resource areas. And basically that we sent the letter as drafted and reviewed here this evening. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay.
You want to just sign it? And
We'll send the letter. I'm going to steal Jeff's copy because I wrote on mine.
I wanted to.
Whose name are you signing?
Can I put yours down? L. Stevenson.
And last, but definitely not least, and not on the agenda. Donna interviewed somebody today who applied for the administrator position,
Okay.
liked her,
Okay.
recommended that she come back for an interview with the commission, and she was trying to schedule something on either the 11th or the 12th.
July 11th or 12th.
Yeah. And I think she said late in the day. 4:35, 6, somewhere in
I could do
there.
the.
She doesn't, I don't.
Actually, you know what, I could probably do, I could definitely do the 12th. I could possibly make the 11th work. Just because I would like to meet with somebody. But I have to shift some other things around. So the 12th would be better for me, but I think either of those 2 days I can make work. And again, if anybody else, I know it's the weeks that, yeah.
But I would be happy to hear.
Yeah, right.
Happy that you would be there.
But if anybody's around, either one of those nights,
Anybody else?
it'd be good. Yeah, it's good to have at least 2 of us.
Anybody else?
If you're free.
11th to the 12th? Send it out and see where we're at.
All right.
So I'll check, I think if you have a quorum there, we should probably post it. That's not a
Oh,
big deal.
yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, and we might not have a quorum there.
Right.
If there's 3 of us, it won't.
Right,
All right, so we should be.
I keep forgetting that.
Should be
You're
fine. Yeah,
seven.
that's it, yeah.
You're 7.
And if 3 other people are going, I'll stay home so we don't have a quorum. So I don't see a person.
All right, so 12th is better,
But I can make the 11th work if that's the only thing that'll work.
and are others available on that days, or?
That's
Okay,
fine. Either.
okay, so I'll let her know. Good?
Happy with everything? Do we have anything else? Pressing matters? And want to sing us out? Just kidding. All right, I would like to make a motion that we officially close the June 28th, 2016 meeting of the Bolton Conservation Commission. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. We are closed. Good night, Teresa.